Welcome back to the Rogue Wave podcast. All right. I mean, we have so much today. We have Dan Gottlieb, a good friend of yours who is a filmmaker. It's in TV and cosplay. We have him coming up next segment. We just did Black Widow. We're going to dive into the other big news of the day. And again, Marvel, separate it out next time.
White meat. Separate
it out.
They don't want to.
For us.
They're like, you know what Marvel's saying? No.
Well, do you know what?
Basically what they're saying.
It's a great segue into the Loki discussion. So spoilers if you haven't seen the season finale. It was on at 3 a.m. I don't understand what you guys were doing.
Yeah, what's your problem?
You know, I was up crack of dawn at 6:30, working out, watching it on my phone. It's very exciting. Season finale airs, and this is Marvel saying yes. So what did I say to you last week? Do you remember? Because we played If I Were the Showrunner, how I would not end it. How would I have not ended it?
Oh man, I don't even remember. Tell me how you said
all of
you
a sudden,
would not end it.
all of a sudden you get asked a question on the spot and you don't have your stuff in front of you. Let's see how.
But I admit, I'm not making a big, I'm not flailing my arms and making a big production out of it. Flail. I just said I don't remember. You flailed. You flailed.
I like Team America. Remember that in Team America?
Yes. Please stop doing that.
Actually, now I can't stop. Now that you
no, I know. So I know. It's bad.
That was holy cow. If we ever get it, this is like our safe word. You realize, like, if we ever get too deep into something, I'll just start doing this.
Don't say safe word. I'll just glare disapprovingly. I should have just continued to glare disapprovingly, and then you wouldn't have done it. But right,
I said
this is why I never smile, because that's all people do after that is just repeat their behavior over and over again and make it happen. So
this is what I said. I said I did not want it to be Kang the Conqueror. I did not want it to be something outside of what we were kind of addressed.
Isn't it ironic that now that you wanted, not you personally, but in general, you wanted Mephisto, you didn't get Mephisto. You wanted, basically Steve Rogers or whoever, and you didn't get Steve Rogers. Then they say maybe Kang, and you're like, I don't want Kang, and you get Kang. They're doing it on purpose. They do it on purpose,
right? Which I thought was interesting. Overall, I enjoyed the show. And next week, we're going to do maybe a little Loki posthumous. We'll try our trailer Truth or Trash. New.
Can we please? It's posthumous, not posthumous.
Is it posthumous?
Yes, posthumous.
Posthumous?
Yes. When someone does something posthumously, that's a thing.
It's not posthumous.
It is not posthumous.
No, I didn't say posthumous. I said posthumous. All right, I'll believe you. I'll Google you because I don't 100% believe you, but I will.
You never heard of someone doing something posthumously?
I just never read it like that.
Okay.
All right. Look, you learn something new every day.
You get a posthumous medal. You've been killed in action, and you get the Medal of Honor. They've given you the medal posthumously.
I've never heard anyone say it though.
All right, fair enough.
I know the word. Obviously, I used the word. But I've only seen it in, at least that I can recall. Anyway,
and you know what? The jury is out. It's one of those words that can be pronounced in several different ways.
Yeah,
I have just always heard it pronounced posthumous, but
you're probably right. I won't sit there and say you're not right.
No, but I actually have heard English people who invented the language say posthumous. So. Well,
we're going to experience this in September when.
But they also say aluminium
comes out.
But they also say aluminium, so F them.
No, that's not right at all.
Because it's aluminum. Darn it.
Do you know if anybody's from upstate, they say bagel?
No.
Yeah.
No.
You're talking like the Rochester area of New York. like I know a few people from Rochester, and they're like, I love bagels, and I'm like, what the hell is a bagel?
Do you stick a swing at them for doing that to you?
It's
You're from New York, man. You're obligated to take a swing.
They call sodas pop up there.
F them.
It's a whole other world in Rochester because it's really cold. So they live by their own rules.
I like the cold, anyway, though. I'm going to move up there. But there, go ahead.
Yeah, you would like that. Back to Loki. As a whole, I enjoyed the series. I really did. Tom Hiddleston is just very magnetic. I thought Sylvie was a great supporting character in this as well too. In some cases, she was the star. you know, as Loki, which again, I thought the two of them were very compelling. Still had the ick factor. So again, spoilers if you haven't seen it. They do manage to kiss in this one, and I don't like it. Not because I don't understand it.
We live in the Jaime and Cersei Lannister world, man.
No,
that's not the strangest thing we have seen.
No, it's not. It's not. I get it. Like, I get it. But there was some sort of like.
It is a little weird. It is
factor
strange
to it, right?
Yeah, I did like the line she said. I thought it was way deep. It sounded. It's a throwaway line that sounded deeper than it was. And it resonated. She says, "Why don't we think the same on this?" Like just like in a little in their conflict at the end. But it just brought it back to home that they are theoretically the same person.
Yeah.
Just with the difference of a chromosome.
Yeah.
But I thought that as dialogue goes, because there's it's hit or miss with me. Some of the stuff that they talk about, some of the ways they talk about. I think tonally the show still struggled a little bit, and this is my opinion because I still very much enjoyed it. But these days, you can't really say anything negative without being a hater. But I still very much enjoyed it. I think it struggled a little bit to try to figure out exactly what kind of show it wanted to be, what kind of tone it wanted to take.
Yeah.
And now that we've had all 6 episodes, I can actually react to the whole thing as to whether or not I did enjoy it as a whole. I do think 6 episodes is way too damn short for a concept that they were trying to push. And I think that the cliffhanger that they ended it on was very unsatisfying on a personal level, even though it sets up a bunch of new things and that's going to ring out and resonate throughout all phase 4 of Marvel. So great, good on them, and good on them for a new, basically sort of setting up the new Thanos. I guess they want to turn Kang into the new Thanos. Or an element of what will be the new big bad,
which the character itself is absolutely of the Thanos level in terms of the comic book source material. So it makes total sense. 2 things struck me though about the ending. One, the fact that, and I saw this tweet later on, and they were like, Spider-Man Homecoming was, or Spider-Man No Way Home was trending after this. The whole series to me now feels, it's weird. I actually have a double-sided feeling about this, right? The whole series to me in one side of things now feels like a giant advertisement for Spider-Man, for the Spider-Man movie, the multiverse movie, and things like that. I don't feel like that completely. That's why I have a double-edged feeling about this. Because overall I enjoyed it, but it felt, like you said, felt empty. When they ended on the cliffhanger, I'm like, wait a minute. This was just to set up Kang?
This is the thing though. Here's the thing, and I don't criticize how you see it or how you experienced it at all. Hold on one second. I mean what I've discovered personally for me that I have to do with this stuff is just take it as pieces of information that are essential for whatever I'm, overall, the overall experience of all the MCU, all of it together is the overall experience. If you try to take it movie by movie, segment by segment, if you try to like the article said, which I disagree with, like Black Widow in and of itself, as a movie into itself, if you've been waiting for that movie for a long time, that may or may not be a disappointing experience for you because of the information, because of the movie itself. It didn't showcase correctly. It didn't, it didn't exalt the character in the way that the person had wanted them to, and that's perfectly valid. You can, it's your mythology, it's your headcanon. You do what you need to do with it. But what I have discovered is if you take each and all of it as a whole, and each of it is like a focal point that you're supposed, like a pressure point that you're supposed to press, that you're supposed to get information from, this or that.
Right.
That's the overall experience of it. And what we're doing, and I think we're doing wrong, and the word wrong is incorrect, and I've got no issue with anything else. I'm just saying in general, I think what tends to happen is we tend to think of ourselves in a fixed point of time. This information that we're getting right here and now, is this doing anything for me in the right here and now? And I honestly don't think that this shared universe is designed that way. It's designed for the aggregate. It's an aggregated experience. So whenever Black Widow came out, it doesn't freaking matter. It's whenever you watch it during the series. If whenever you want
that's the feeling I got when watching Black Widow. I said that last segment. That is actually the feeling I got when I watched Black Widow. I felt like I was it didn't feel like any other Marvel movie I had seen before, because it really felt like just something. Oh, I guess I just missed this, and it happens to be playing in theaters. The theater
that's
thing
what I'm saying. But I think theoretically you're supposed to take yourself. You're supposed to remove yourself from the equation and just take the information that you're being given and apply it to what you already know, like spackle in a wall, right? So if you want to know what Natasha Romanoff was up to, right after Civil War, here's the information. So now when you put together your fan wiki, these are all pieces that you yourself will be able to put together in it. And I will tell you and we're not going to get into a deep discussion about this. I will tell you from the Star Wars universe, it doesn't matter when I got the prequels, because 10 years on, that's just information that is canon. So who I was or what I thought of the series before I found out the backstory of Anakin Skywalker doesn't really, it doesn't come into play. It doesn't ruin anything for me. Right. So I think the same thing will happen with the MCU. I mean, we're 24 movies in. We're probably going to end this thing at 30 to 50 movies, like when they're done, like when phase 5 or whatever they're doing is over, when this whole thing fizzles out, we might be up to 40 to 50 movies by then. I think I think the essence of all those movies are going to be what they are all together, as opposed to what happened when each of them was released individually. And I think our challenge is going to be it's going to be being able to see it all as a whole, as opposed to taking it piece by piece.
Well, that's the thing. It's a double-edged take that I have. I thoroughly enjoyed Loki, and at the same time was thoroughly upset at the end because it felt like a commercial for the next movie, it was one of the things I loved about WandaVision. In that WandaVision was nothing, people kept asking for Mephisto. I thought it'd be cool if they brought him in somehow, but as long as it was organic. But they didn't upset me that he wasn't the big bad villain, because it would make no sense. By the point that they got to the end, I'm like, well, no, then there should not be Mephisto. It doesn't make sense to have Mephisto at this point. So I'm glad they didn't do it in that film. I'm not upset, actually, even though I did say I didn't want them to do Kang, because he didn't outright say he was Kang. It was more like he hinted at Kang, and he hinted at who he was.
We knew that actor was hired to play Kang, theoretically.
So, and I also knew when he mentioned he was a conqueror. Exactly. I said, oh, okay, well, then this is Kang, and he's dressed purple, and it's Kang the Conqueror. So we know it. He's Kang the Conqueror. The little mind twist at the end too, where Owen Wilson's like, "Who are you? Where's your station?" So already the ripple effect of. But again, I don't understand the science of this to begin with, so I just assume that by stabbing Kang in the end, it now has created ripple effects.
Yeah, he kind of explained it, but it was explained in that kind of matrixy, really fast, a lot of information dump, And I mean, you can follow it to the point. The basic point is, if you kill me, everything's going to get worse.
Yes.
But if you don't kill me and take over my, everything stays the same, and you guys get to live a life, right?
Yes.
And those are the two choices. And then, Sylvia obviously just decided, no, I want revenge. And so apparently that's going to set up the multiverse of madness and all this stuff that's coming.
That was my other takeaway, though, too. And this is something huge, and it coincides with the end credit scene at the end of Black Widow too. We had Darren Sanchez on, who is a former Marvel employee, so he's been under, but I want to say behind enemy lines is not true, but he's, in the know. Right. So he said to us one time when we were talking WandaVision and the introduction of Quicksilver, and he goes, look, they're not going to introduce mutants. They're not going to do it for some TV show and a streaming service. They're going to do it in the context of a major motion picture. And we all kind of said, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Now, plus with the release of the numbers for Black Widow and how well it did on this premium streaming service, it's showing what Disney and what Marvel now believes is the future. The future is, I don't want to say it's going like the theaters are going away. They're not going away. No, but it used to be theaters, TV. Now it's here because they literally are catapulting the next phase of their entire movie operation on their premium streaming service.
And it could reach everybody just as much as the movies have reached everybody. Yes. So like Loki basically isn't just like this kind of, cheap knockoff of a spin-off of the movies. Loki is an essential piece to that will branch out to movies and other television shows.
He will absolutely appear in Doctor Strange. I saw an article today, speculating if that's now the case. But I would wager he will now appear in some way, shape, or form, or be involved in the phase 4, which is great because, again, Tom Hiddleston is great. So able to take somebody who is that charismatic and work him into the storyline that now works. There's a season 2 coming, which I was shocked at as well, too. I was surprised by that, but it also shows that you have a major actor like Tom Hiddleston and a major actor like Owen Wilson are going to be in a TV. This is a TV series. It's a.
But that's what I'm saying. It's not a TV series anymore. It's a segmented movie.
Yes.
It's
no, but I'm saying in terms of what the actors. I mean, think about this. 20 years ago, the thought of a major actor being in a TV show, for lack of a better term, meant your career as a major movie actor was over and TV was the best you could do. Now it's completely different because of the scope and the grandeur of what you can do with streaming, that not only is the studio pinning it on this streaming, pinning their future revenue on the streaming service, but the actors and actresses themselves are now saying, yes, sign me up. This is just as great as doing a major film. Think about this. Black Widow, Florence Pugh's character they've never done this. They've never done an end credit scene to plug a Disney Plus show before. And they did that in the movie. So to me, these were all major milestones. These were all connected. And again, I have two feelings about the series now. I would still say out of the 3, I enjoyed WandaVision the most because it was self-contained, because I thought they handled it. I thought the pacing was great, and I thought the concept was very original, and it all worked together. I would grade them for right now. My experience: WandaVision, then Loki, then Falcon and Winter Soldier. Like if I had to rank them. So, but it's interesting to see. Will you give us your rank, or you're not going to do that? See, look at you. I know. Let's do this before we go to break, though. Days of Futures Past. New little segment idea I came up with. I like this. What were your feelings going into the weekend that you were more excited to see Black Widow or the Loki season finale, or what? If you had to pick one kind of deal going in, and then what were your feelings after? Like which one were you most satisfied with having viewed after?
Yeah, here's why I hate these. I don't hate them because of the question.
Mm-hmm.
I hate them because of the answer. Because the answer is always going to be, and I don't mean it that way. I don't necessarily mean it like I didn't care. I was curious.
That's fine. Curiosity's good. That's good.
Yeah, but I mean, I have the same level of curiosity for everything. Like I have the same level of curiosity for the Bad Batch, that's coming up this week. I'd say the most excited I was, and this is not what your question was, but my biggest excitement was for Infinity War, because I just wanted to see how are you going to do this? You've been promising me that for this long period, almost a decade. How are you going to do this? Are you going to be? I'm sure you'll pull it off, because I've seen a whole bunch of movies. When they pulled off Ant-Man, I was like, these guys can do anything, right? So basically, when it comes to Black Widow, does it hit the Infinity War gauge of excitement? No. Did Loki hit the Infinity War gauge of excitement? No. I was excited for Loki just so we could finish it, so I can make up my mind about the series as a whole when it was finally over. And I was excited to see the Black Widow, because I just want to see, I want to see if I'm still thrilled at watching another, Marvel vehicle, like big budget action vehicle. And I was. So I got what I wanted. But yeah, I don't usually go into things super excited. Like, oh, this.
Well,
is
no, but you used the word
great.
curious. You used the word curious. Which one were you more curious for? What's that?
I was more curious for Black Widow. If I have to put a gauge on it, I was more curious for Black Widow. Like I said, Loki for me, it's a great show. I think it's struggling with what it wants to be. I think it flirts with, it's brilliant. It's already brilliant.
Yeah.
It flirts with greatness, but then certain things just kind of hold it back, you know? And so, and then seeing the that last episode, I'm like, yeah, this could have been something else.
Yeah.
You know, and it's just a show, and I don't mean it that way. That's the problem. I don't have the vocabulary to articulate it, but it's just a show in the sense of just like X-Men, the first X-Men movie. Okay, this is just the nuance here is this is just live action,
right?
You know, here your selling point is, look, it's not that great a movie, but it's the X-Men in real life, huh? You're going to come back. So Loki is like, this is high test concept. We're still figuring it out. Please come back next season. But I mean, it flirted with the greatness that it could have been in this season.
Yeah, you know?
It flirted with the kind of greatness that if they had achieved it, you'd be annoyed that there was going to be a next season because it endangers like how great an achievement they had already accomplished. But it is what it is. I was more excited to see Black Widow, but I very much wanted to finish out Loki, and I'm very happy with it. I'm very much enjoyed it.
Yeah,
you know, so it is what it is. Like, but everything is milquetoast. It's so lukewarm. My reaction is like, oh, that was nice. You know, like having a sandwich, like having a good saying. Hey, that was a delightful sandwich. You know, I feel satiated now on my hunger because I've eaten a delightful sandwich. It's not.
Miguel, you sound smarter now with that up tempo pitch voice right there.
Oh, really? Well,
like now all of a sudden I need to listen to you as if your IQ just went up. It just jumped off like 20 points right there with that voice.
So insulting. You know what?
What do you guys think? I was more curious about Loki going into the weekend. I was not more nonchalant about Black Widow. I came out more satisfied after watching Black Widow than I did Loki. What do you guys think? Give us your take. Comment in the comments field.
Don't tell us what you think.
On Facebook.
We're not interested in your thoughts at all.
When we come back, we got creator Dan Gottlieb coming up talking about awesome stuff, including his charity work, which it's associated through the Marvel Universe. And I think that's one of the most heroic parts
for it.
About the next segment. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.